Well, the Hoecakes take me back to my childhood when my grandmother used to make them. So it's like coming here and getting a little taste of home.
We used to go to Easter lunch every year, and my favorite part was always when your mom would bring out the Hoecakes and cheese biscuits. I felt so famous when she would hand me my cheese biscuit.
This is the kind of food that we grew up eating. We would eat fried chicken and collard greens and macaroni and cheese and candied yams and things like that, and sweet tea and Hoecake cornbread.
Can I swim up?
Nice to meet you, Glenn. You know, I heard you at the buffet say this better be good.
And it was. I've heard about how good this fried chicken is.
It is.
Yeah, I know. So I thought I have to try it.
Did you enjoy it?
But I was giving up my scallops.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did.
Good. How's the fried chicken?
They'll have to tell you about that fried chicken again. It was amazing.
The best you've ever had?
Actually, yeah, it really is. I've had a lot of fried chicken. She says that's in by her mom. Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen today. You know, it's a rainy day. It's just a perfect day to be in the kitchen. So I thought today I would share with y'all a few bread recipes. You know, in the South, our bread is so very important. In fact, I can go into a restaurant and I can tell you if that meal's gonna be good or not. If that bread's not good, there's a good chance the whole meal's not gonna be good. That bread is so important. So I thought I'd start by making just a corny cornbread. You know, we make all kind of cornbread down here in the South, but I'm gonna do the corny cornbread. And all I need is 1.5 cups of self-rising cornmeal. I need 3/4 cup of self-rising flour. I need 1 cup of cheese. I need an 8-ounce can of cream corn. And if you want to make it really special, you can use fresh corn. And I need an 8-ounce package of sour cream. I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of oil. And a lot of people use cayenne pepper, but I'm gonna use jalapeno peppers because I had such an abundance of them in my garden and I need to get rid of them. And then I want y'all to see these beautiful eggs that my little chickens lay. They're a bluish green. They're kind of a seafoam green. I got 3 chickens out there that lay this color egg, and I just think they're so beautiful. So I've got my black skillet in the oven. I've got a little oil in it, and I'm heating it up so that that crust will have a good start on kind of getting crispy. I love the crispy bottom. So that's it. All I've got to do is mix it up, and you'll see I'm not using any milk or buttermilk. And that's because I've got the oil and the sour cream is gonna be the liquid part of our cornbread. And if you think this is not good with fried pork chop, y'all, grits ain't groceries in a poor man's house. I'm telling you what, it is some kind of good. All right, so just that easy, we got it done. And I've got my skillet heating. So I'm just gonna transfer my batter into my skillet, and you probably can't hear it, but I hear it sizzling. Yeah, you can kind of see it sizzling. All right, so I'm gonna put our cornbread in, y'all. So I'm gonna clean up this stuff. I'm gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm gonna show you how my mother made lace Hoecake cornbread, the most fabulous cornbread in the world. And you talking about a poor man's food. Now that is a poor man's food. But I thought I was a queen while I was eating it. Hey y'all, welcome back. I got all the mess cleaned up from the corny jalapeno cornbread that I got in the oven. And now I'm fixing to show y'all how my mama made the most wonderful lace Hoecakes, and she cooked them every meal except breakfast. We had them, well, Bubba and I had lunch at school, but Daddy would come home to lunch, And Mama cooked those hoe cakes for him at lunch and for the family at dinner. Always, always. Now, I've got my hoe cake pan. Now, we gotta talk about this because in order to make a hoe cake, you must have a hoe cake pan. And you see it's got a little rise just to keep your ingredients on top of your skillet. And I've got it heating up. And this is one of the things that you must do. You must spray that pan good. Now, this is an old seasoned pan. And to tell y'all the truth, I can't remember. It could very well be my mama's pan. I just can't remember over the years. All right, now I'm gonna take just a little oil from my fryer, my deep fryer, and I'm gonna pour that on that pan just like that. And I may have to add more, but we'll see as we go. I'm gonna start with a plain, good grade of all-purpose or plain cornmeal. And I'm gonna try to measure this out for y'all. I think I'll use about 1.5 cups of plain cornmeal. And this will make quite a bit. And I'm gonna add salt. It's got the 3 ingredients, y'all. That looks like about a teaspoon of salt. It's plain cornmeal, water, and salt. That's it. And you want your batter to be real thin because the thinner your batter, the more lace you're gonna get on your cornbread. All right, so what did I say? I used 1.5 cups of cornmeal, and that was 1 cup of water. So I'm gonna have to have more water than that. All right. So we're down to about 1.3 cups now. And I've found over the years that as your batter sits, it'll get thicker, so you're gonna have to add more water. I think I started with so much cornmeal, y'all, that may have to move to a bigger bowl. Like I said, I've never measured, I just make it. And so you see, it's thin. It's very thin. So you'll want to make sure your skillet is good and hot. Okie doke. Now I'll share with y'all a little secret. The 2 things that make this so special is my hoe cake pan and my grandmother's spatula. You know, this was her spatula that she used at River Bend, and I just adore this spatula. And it's dated 1945. It's 2 years older than me. See that thin blade? You cannot find anything like this in this day and age. That's a fine spatula. And I would just cry if anything happened to it. All right, so here we go. And my batter's thick, y'all. I'm gonna have to water it down a little bit more because it doesn't have quite the laciness that I want to it. So while I'm back here, you know, I told you it'll thicken up as it sits. So I'm just gonna let that kind of cook a little bit. And, you know, I tried serving this in the restaurant, y'all, but it takes really a long time to cook lace hoe cakes. Your regular self-rising hoe cakes, you can cook those in a second in a pan, but these you really have to do a lot of flipping, and it just takes time. And I found in the restaurant, I just didn't have that kind of time, because one day I said, it was when I was in my first little restaurant, y'all, and I decided one day I was gonna make Mama's lace hoe cakes. Well, honey, that was the first and last day I ever did lace hoe cakes in the restaurant, because it took me forever, and people were hollering, out there in the dining room, we want more hoe cakes, we want more hoe cakes. And of course, I was cooking them as fast as they would cook. So this is a little trick my mama taught me. When you get ready to flip your hoe cakes, get you a plate and run it under the water a second to wet your plate. And it kind of works like that hush puppy deal. That water will help that hoe cake slide straight off. Look at there. Look at there, look at there. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of oil to the center of my hoe cake so it'll have something to fry in. And our cornbread, our jalapeno cornbread is almost ready. I probably got another 5 or 10 minutes on that, and then we'll pull that out of the oven and we'll slather it with some butter. And we'll be tasting that very soon. Our hoe cake is finally ready after many times of flipping. Now, I just like butter on my hoe cake, y'all. I know I put some oil in there so it'd have something to fry in, but I need this for when I put it in my mouth. Oh, my grannies. I wish y'all were here. I wish. There's some things that you taste that'll almost make you weep because of memories that flood back, and you know, they're all good memories. They just didn't last long enough. I wish I could have made more memories. All right, we're moving on to biscuits now. Years ago, people fell in love with our cheese biscuits. And I said, well, I wanted people to have the opportunity to make them at home if they wanted to. So I finally met this man named Roy, and he promised me that he could duplicate my biscuits to perfection. Well, he did it. He did it. I'll always be indebted to Roy because we got my biscuit mix in a box. And if you'd like to try some, you can get it online. And all you have to do is add buttermilk. I mean, it's so simple. Now, I'm gonna save me a little bit of the mix and use it on my dish rag. Now, I just pulled a clean dish rag out of the drawer, and I'm just gonna spread that out. Now, all you need to make my mix, my biscuit mix, is the mix and buttermilk. Oops, thank you, Jamie. Jamie just reminded me that I hadn't looked at our cheesy jalapeno cornbread, and it should be ready, and it is. And y'all, I've never measured this either, so I just know when I get it to the consistency that I like. If I've added too much buttermilk, I can correct it by adding more mix to it. So you just want to get it mixed up, you know, pretty good. You don't want to, certainly you don't want to overbeat it. So can you see that consistency that I have it? And then I've got my extra mix right here on my towel. So I'm just gonna pour that out. Just like that. These are so easy to make, y'all. And I promise it'll be the best biscuit you've ever had. To me, it's even more better than my homemade. All right, you can see the way I'm just rolling that around to get it covered good with the flour. And then I'm just gonna kind of knead it in Just like that. And then, I don't even use a rolling pin, y'all. I just pat it out with my hands. And you can make them as thick or as big or as little as you want them. I could stand a little bit more flour, y'all, so I'm just gonna dig some self-rising flour out of the bucket and put right there because I'm gonna need to dip my biscuit cutter in the flour so that it won't stick to it. So let me get out my ever faithful pan. Y'all have seen this one so many times. So many times. I found this at Ye Olde Bottle Shop in Millbrook, New York. And I love it. Just a little butter in it so those biscuits can sizzle. All right, I'm just gonna put that on warm and let that butter melt. Oh, our cornbread feels so good. So, I'm just gonna cut my biscuits out just like that. And the other day, our figs finally got ripe, and I made some of the most wonderful fig preserves. So I can't wait to have one of these biscuits with that homemade fig preserve. All right. So our butter's kind of melted. So on go our biscuits. Ooh, doggies. Just gonna kind of roll that around in my leftover flour. Ooh, there comes that rain again. There's nothing like a beautiful rainy day to get in the kitchen. All right, so I'm just gonna put this in the oven, y'all. I've got it on like 350 and I'll bake them for 12 to 15 minutes or until they're golden brown and done in the center. Okay, so in the oven, 350. Y'all come over here and look at that rain out there. It's raining so hard you can't hardly even see the river. Okay, y'all, we've got the staff of life right here in front of us. We got our hot biscuits, our jalapeno cornbread, and our lace Hoecakes. Look at that. Look how thin it is. I can almost read the paper through it. And that's the way I like it. And these biscuits just came out of the oven, y'all. Look at the steam coming off of them. They're hot as fire. Michael, I saw Michael just walk in the door. You're just in time, Michael. Look, well, you came to the right house. Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Have you had a good day?
Yeah, I was busy.
Good, look at that, Michael. It's got jalapenos in it and corn. Look at there you go. Now you tell me if we did a home run or not. And look at these biscuits, they're just hot as fire. All right.
That's good.
Fixing to eat like a king right here.
Figs?
Yes. Now,
Why you leaving them tails on?
Because I like to have something to pick it up by.
You're gonna have to spit that stem out.
Is that not the best biscuit you ever put in your mouth?
Delicious.
I truly don't know which one is the best, Michael.
I think my favorite's the cornbread.
Which cornbread?
This one.
The cake cornbread.
Yeah, and then the biscuit.
Well, have y'all had a good time today? I hope so. Because I know I had a good time being with you. And I look forward, I look forward to seeing y'all next week. With all our love, y'all, just for you.
I know. I come in just the perfect time.
I mean, that was perfect timing.
Georgia.